recording it. There we go. Some people are going to jump on late, but they didn't really miss anything. Um, so this is, one of the ones that we've kind of carried over the years. Is a we'll work screens, like I said, to our tailback and to our tight end here. Big thing for me is always just trying to figure out what's going to give me the best numbers, whether I'm going to do it out of a 2x2 or 3x1. And I've found that, I think 3x1 with the nub tight end always gives me the numbers and the look that I want. Like I said, we just don't do a great job executing. Here we're gonna arc release the tight end. We knew that he was going to be man to man here, and we were going to pull him out of there. And we felt like, this player in particular, they like to bring from the boundary when you got into this set. So whether they brought him or left him, we felt like we could account for the two inside backers, and everybody else was going to be out of the picture. And you'll see it here. We get exactly what we want. But again, execution is just awful. And this is year one in the offense. This was a big shift from what they'd done in the past. But the left tackle here, who's an absolute mountain of a man, and is playing in Kentucky as a small school ball, is supposed to be 100% here. This guard's supposed to be here for him. And if we do anything close to just set a screen, we feel like we've got a great play. But obviously the better athlete wins in this situation. It starts with the tackle's eyes being wrong and finishes with just, it's a kid that's more athletic, and he beats him with body position. So we like I said, we've tried to run screens that direction. One of the questions I have for you guys tonight is if you had better success leaking your tailback from the same side or bringing him across the quarterback. I've done it both ways. Like on the last one, obviously he came from the same side, and I felt like it timed up pretty well. Here, we try to bring him up, through, and across, and he just gets caught up in the wash, and we end up just having to try to dump it and get rid of it, really, and try not to take the penalty there. So that is one of the questions I have here. Obviously, again, we're bringing him from the same side. I know a lot of 3x1 teams that like to slow screen the tailback will reduce the split, and they will come and crack the first thing in the box, and then slip out behind it. I always I always felt, honestly, as a defense coordinator, that it helped me, because this guy typically had to reduce his split to do it, which meant we were going to back off some, and we were going to widen here. And so, if they tried to get us here, it became pretty obvious right away, that we had to come fit. So what we ended up getting a lot of times was actually they would come and crack all the way here, and we felt like we had numbers and better athletes attacking in space. So I typically like to clear the corner out of there and get as many eyes as possible away from the screen action. You'll see here we get a kind of bullcrap holding, I think, on the guard. But once again, if we get out and if we can get it completed, we've got one guy to block and a chance for an explosive play. I want to skip forward and show you one other action. I'll come back to this one. Here obviously we bring him across. We felt like this particular team, anytime you put the back strong, this safety was cheating over hard. They would like to bring this Mike now and just let him get here anytime you got in 3x1 strong, because they wanted to protect against sprint out. So for that reason, we brought him back underneath the quarterback in that game plan, because we felt like, again, he's going to rush. We can go block him. Now we got one guy underneath that we have to deal with. And this was in a 2-minute situation late in the game. We got the exact look we want. And for the first time that season, actually got out and really popped one. Because again, we were able to, we knew what we were going to get when we got into that formation, and we were able to manipulate numbers. But one of the best ones that I think that we have done and it's all about having the right kid. We like to do it to our tight end, whether it's out of the nub or out of a 2x2, on the ball, off the ball, doesn't matter. Here you'll see we push the tailback out of the backfield, which was something we do a lot in our snag game, and now we work the screen to the tight end back here into the boundary. And if the receiver does a better job just getting off and running off that corner, we have a long way to go. But the receiver gets bullied around a little bit and slows us down, and then they have a kid do a great job in pursuit to get back on the ball. But we've had, like I said, we've had a lot of success. I think it times up better. I think it helps the quarterback get those screens to the tight end. It helps the offensive linemen, I think, because for some reason they're more comfortable with it because the action doesn't happen quite as wide. So that's, again, those three elephants go and pray, don't touch a damn soul, but we gain, 20 plus yards. Show it to you again. I should have it on here. Out of 3x1 set here, we're bunched to the field. Again, knew what we were going to be able to trigger from a coverage concept by getting in that formation. Get the pressure we want. We show sprint one way, show sprint to it, come back and screen to the tight end. Miss the block. Really, if we get that one, I think we really have a chance at an explosive play. But the center, just our backside guard, just whiffs on him. Or we might have had a chance to be escorted to the sideline there. So,
Hey, Coach, I got a question.
Yes, sir.
I like that. What are you telling that against odd front? Like we play a lot of odd front like everybody else. What are you telling that tight end rule based on that? Are you having him attack that outside backer, Sam or Jack, on that?
So what we're telling him is he's going to pass set. We're going to treat him just like the offensive tackle. We're going to pass set, and he's looking for that viper or that's coming off the edge. He's going to he's going to be hard with the inside hand and try to shove the guy wide and upfield, and then he just pivots back inside. So he's going to 1-2 punch, and after he punch, he's going to turn his numbers back to the quarterback, and then after his body's going to be here, and then it's actually going to rotate back this way. And once he sees the quarterback and he's showing the quarterback his numbers, we tell him you can start to just drift back out because it's going to end up happening outside of this guy as he goes. We do enough with that tight end in pass set. It doesn't trigger anything. A lot of people release him all the time or it's in the run game. They don't necessarily pass set him. We work pass set with our guys. So we'll pass set and release our guys late into routes. So even for that outside linebacker in a 3-4, he's okay. He's used to seeing this guy on film pass set to take pressure, but also pass set and release late for a check down. So it's no red flags really jump off the screen when we do it. We got away from the slow screen last year and tried to be a little bit more heavy on tunnel screen. And, we just weren't great at it. This was the best one we had all season. And again, we were a heavy push motion with that tailback. And we'd push him out here. You're probably going to look like a 3-man snag game. So we push him out here, and then we block there and bring the tunnel back the other way. I know a lot of teams obviously use the same kind of motion to trigger it, but we felt like, here we're first and forever. This is after a big penalty. You can see here where we're able to pop it, and we actually had some guys that were able to get out in front a little bit. And truth is, I threw it to a kid that was a great kid, a reliable kid. He was never going to outrun anybody. I happened to call it when the guy that was the starter was on the sidelines getting taped up. And so, and that was the most successful really tunnel that we had all season this year. And you can see even here, just the symmetry of the line, the timing of it, they don't do a great job. The right tackle's a really freaking good athlete, and he's kind of the best one getting out there. The rest of them, we just don't have a good feel for it. So I'm hoping you guys tonight, like I said, can bring some things to the table for me, and help open me up, open up some things that I can put on, and freaking hopefully become a much better screen team. So anybody have anything they'd like to jump in and share?
Coach, I'll kind of piggyback off of you there.
Please do.
Now, I don't have it on film right now, but we did – the reason we don't have it on film is we didn't have the Jimmy this year for it. But we do something super similar to what you're doing out of that nub set. But the lineman to the nub side will run it like outside zone to the left or option to the left or whatever you want to call it, reaching left. So I'm talking my right guard and right tackle right here.
Yep.
And my left side will pass pro.
Okay.
And they'll pass pro for one. While they're doing that, we're gaining depth here. And they're clearing out. They're not necessarily blocking anybody. They are getting out of the way.
Okay.
So that way my center, what he's going to do is he's going to release fast and crack the first threat, which is usually a corner, right? We usually got a corner out here. And then guard and tackle weak side, they're coming late.
Okay.
So it's almost exactly what you got going here, except what we have is run action to the tight end out of the offensive lineman.
Yep.
And then we're pass pro and away from him.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So you're almost taking the right side and really just trying to wash everything or pull their eyes away
100%.
from the screen.
I want this backer, if I were to take the time and draw this right, I want the backer that's to the tight end to chase that tackle.
Yep.
So we ran it. We called it magic because we thought it was a magical play.
So tell me this, Coach, what's the timing for the tight end and the timing for the quarterback?
Tight end is going to pass pro first, or he's going to like slow reach, a hinge block, if you will.
Right.
And he's a full 1,000, 1,000. Meanwhile, the center and guard and tackle are a 1,000 release and get out.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it's going to be a late
That's pretty
catch.
quick. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a late catch, but our center, guard, and tackle that are coming for that screen, they're leaving now. So that's something that's similar to what you got going on there.
Right.
Now, on film, hold on, I'd actually put something together here. You were talking about I'm in last year's stuff. You were talking about, back work and stuff like that. Our Chicago screen was our most explosive. We tried to do it away from the trips and release on same side.
Yep.
Right, pretty generic friggin' screen here, but 9 out of 10 times it was explosive as all get out.
And you get all 5 out.
I get all 5 out, and we're going now, fellas. I mean, we're literally you watch my left tackle, who's a 6'4", 230 sophomore. He's just laying a dude, and that's the only time that happens all season.
Do you give them landmarks when they release?
So our landmark for our play side tackle, right, is 10 yards to the sideline now.
Okay.
So, pass pro here, 10 yards right here. Just happens to cross face with someone. And then we're 5 yards off of that for everybody else, right? So we're pass pro, 5 yards. Middle of field, take it. 5 yards. Sideline. Does that make sense? So we're just near, like a claw right there.
Okay.
I mean,
So really, your left tackle, whether it's screen is to the right or left, it's the same damn rules for him.
Yeah, it made everything really inexpensive for us in terms of teaching. Because like you talked about, coaching up the offensive line on stuff like this, I mean, it's harder than hell. I mean, it's the same exact play. Now, this is against, right? So we're playing, he's at Army right now, or going to Army. He's going to Navy. This is Jalen Hodge, who somehow went to UCF over everywhere. This kid's going to USC, I believe. I mean, we're playing some Jimmies out here.
Yep.
And it's the same exact stuff. Someone crosses their face, go ahead. Then let the athlete do his thing.
Yep.
I mean, nothing crazy with it, but we release all 5.
Yeah.
And this time we ran it to the tight end. And boom. I mean, it's the same exact stuff, but you watch the tight end, he gets all goofy and stuff like that. I mean, the hell,
Yeah.
So that's our biggest one. Now, when we do the key game, I first studied Noel Mazzone here, and I can get off of here. I don't know how to stop share. when I first started coaching, I studied the hell out of Noel Mazzone, and I love the key game to the boundary.
I do
I think,
too.
I just, I know it's only 4 or 6 yards 9 out of 10 times, but that's a cheap 4 or 6 yards that, you can call lickety split if you're trying to hurry up the tempo.
I had the chance to work with him for a semester, um, and it was so just when Ed Orgeron got hired at Ole Miss, I was still on campus working for the team, and so that first spring, and he brought Mazzoni in to coordinate the offense, but he was asking him to run the USC offense, so
Yeah.
he didn't get to do all of his stuff probably the way he would have liked to have done it. But I know he is a big fan of getting numbers in the boundary. He was at the time getting
He's
numbers in the
everything I
boundary,
still
throwing fast screens into the boundary. We have been a big key screen into the boundary
I think it's a fantastic
team as well.
play.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
we're a terrible outside zone team, so that's our way of attacking the flats.
Yep.
Hey, how do you handle a non-rushing DT when you throw your all 5 out?
We were coaching in South Florida. Those don't exist down there. That's the cheap answer. But we did have, so we called that play Chicago. We also had Milwaukee and Indiana, and Milwaukee was just the left side. Indiana was just the right side because left side and right side of the city of Chicago. So that's kind of how we dealt with that, and that would be based on quarterback feel, really.
So if tailback, so if you call Milwaukee, tailback steps up and he's going to sift out to the left.
Yep. He's gonna pass pro left, and he's gonna sit right behind where the guard started.
Okay. What do you get? What's his landmark on Chicago? Same deal where the guard starts?
So pass pro, and then now so that's where coaching gets really intricate for at least our running back and quarterback game. Chicago, his landmark was the inside leg of the guard, the play side guard, and then Milwaukee or Indiana was the outside leg. Yeah.
And that was all the width you thought you needed?
Yeah, and that was it, because what that did is we felt like our guy had 3 feet either direction, and if that tackle's not coming up field right on the weak side, I need 3 feet away from him,
right,
as opposed to towards the center of.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Coach Fields, you tearing it up here?
Yeah, I was gonna go ahead and go once you're finished.
Oh, it's all you, Coacher.
So I was gonna build a little bit. I'm not gonna talk much about how and why we do things, because my man Nate McPeak's in here. We play week 10, so. But I'll go ahead and pull up some film for you. I'll pull up some stuff for you.
Yeah, Coach, if you'll unshare yours so he can share.
Can y'all see mine?
No, we're on Coach Fields right now.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's Coach Fields. We're good.
Okay, so big thing what we do, we're going to practice our screens 10, 15 minutes a day. And we do that from day one, no matter what, equipment we're in, we're practicing our screens. We live and die by them. Now, that being said, when we play disciplined football teams like we play, I don't call them any, because when defensive linemen are disciplined and they don't get upfield and they stop, it's very, very difficult to screen. So, but what I try to do is try to keep people off balance. Even against those disciplined teams, I'm still going to call them just to slow them down a little bit. But against, I guess, you're more athletic, you're more aggressive, you're more blitzing-oriented defenses, you can get a lot of big gains off of them. But what we're going to do, everyone has a rule based off, we call it convoy, you could call it tunnel, you could call it whatever, jail, whatever you want to call it. But we are going to, the big coaching points here is that we're going to push 3 steps with both our wide receivers, okay? That is the most important teaching point, because their eyes and feet have to sell routes. They have to sell downfield. They have to sell vertical stretch. So when they push vertical 1, 2, 3 stick, we teach our guys when he sticks his foot, he needs to work backwards. Obviously, this corner bailed extremely hard, and he's not getting downhill, so he goes and attacks. But that's the biggest teaching point is when you stick your foot in the ground, we need to work backwards, because if we work 2, then we can get beat across our face. If we work backwards, we can correct ourselves and fix ourselves. But we stick our foot in the ground, we retrace our steps, we're coming flat down the line of scrimmage. Our rules with our offensive line, we're going to vertical set 3 steps, 1, 2, 3, and get out. Okay, and now our rules are kick, alley, wall. Okay, kick, alley, wall. Our tackle, our play side tackle, is going to vertical set. He's going to work back down. His landmark can come flat down the line of scrimmage, and he's kick. Once he sets the kick, our next guard isn't going to do the exact same thing footwork wise, and now he's going to get in the alley. And now our center is going to do the exact same thing, and he's going to work. When we got really good at it, we called rat kick. But I start with kick, alley, wall because that makes sense to you. So this biggest coaching point that we have discovered is for your offensive lineman, for your play side tackle, for your screen, is they need to pre-snap. They need to look to the side. If they have 2 wide receivers, that tells them that they are working to number 2. If they have 1 wide receiver, they're going to work to number 1. So now that tells them how many people they have, and that gives them something to work towards. Now, just because you have a landmark doesn't mean that is your guy. You're going to block the first opposite hat that shows, period. You never pass up an opposite colored hat. But because you give them that landmark, now they know where they're going, and now they work with more of a purpose. They're not wandering around like they're lost. All right, so now kick, alley, wall. You see my man pointing to his guy because he knows he's in the alley. He's going to take him. He's in the alley. Now, technically, this is a double screen. We never throw it, but we're going to crack, and bubble. We're supposed to read a mic, but we don't do it. We almost always throw the J. Let's move on. There's a really good one.
Look at there, coach.
So here we're doing the exact same thing, running convoy. This is a really good example of rat kill for a good defensive tackle coach you were talking about. Reads a screen and gets upfield. That's what your center's there to do, rat kill. He's going to come back and take care of that.
How do y'all drill that rat kill?
You
Or you
got
don't, and you just pray.
No, we rep the shit out of it. But you have to get them to understand wall first. Wall. Kick, alley, wall. Once they understand the concept of wall, you have to teach them to stick their foot in the ground and work back with their eyes. Like he's got to stick that foot right now. His eyes are right now back to the line of scrimmage, and he's going to work back for anything that shows.
Who's that, Belfry y'all are playing?
No, that's Anderson County.
All right.
Here's Covington Catholic. They went up to Cincinnati and beat the 5A state champion up there. This is, again, just convoy to the field, working vertical sets. This kid had 1 catch on the year and went for 60.
What's the footwork and timing for the quarterback, coach?
So what he's going to do, his job, I don't really focus too much on his feet, to be honest with you.
Right.
I focus on his eyes and his shoulders, and making sure he moves.
Yep.
Okay, making sure he moves an inside backer, make sure he moves a safety. He has to displace the other side. That is the biggest thing. But if you want to get really, really technical with him, it's a 1, 2, 3, eyes to the bubble, down to the screen.
Okay.
That's the rule. But I really don't focus that hard. Just make sure you're repping the shit out of the throw.
Yep.
That's the most important part.
I think on your first clip, coach, you had number 1 off and number 2 on. Any reason, or just who your Jimmies and Joes are that day?
It's just the formation. We run them. We don't really dictate what formation we run it out of.
All right.
I'm going to show you all you talked about slow screen earlier.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't run it for 2 years because we haven't had a very good kid to do it. But two years ago we did. And what we did, coach, is we did crack, and it helped. You mentioned as a DC, it brought that corner in and had him feel quicker. Well, that's what we wanted, because now that sets our landmarks, okay? So we're running it. And you also mentioned on the same side or opposite side, we did it from either. We didn't really feel like it made a difference for us. It's more about that tailback and him getting a feel for where he inserts and when he gets out.
Yeah.
And just reps. But we're going to high wall with both our tackles, inside set, try to run them out the back door, high wall with both tackles. We're going to 3 vertical set with our guard, center guard. Again, it's the exact same verbiage. we're going to kick alley wall. Okay, so now when we are running this slow screen to the right, okay, his landmark, no matter what, is number 1. Okay, he's going to set that kick. All right, so we are down, we're cracking with the number 1 wide receiver. We can run out of 2x2, we can run out of 3x1, we can run out of whatever. But we're going to be cracking down, first body in the box, and then we're going to kick alley wall, and we're going to kick this corner. Insert, leak out. Dang, wasn't very fast. But yeah, we would go same side, we'd go other side. It's more about the tailback having a feel.
Yep.
Against Covcath again. I'm trying to get a good clip of Teach tape. Here you go. I think this is probably the best one here. All right, so this, son of a bee. So this guy does a really good job. So the big coaching point here is when we are cracking to that backer in the box, if he blitzes, climb immediately or try to get a hat on that corner because he's probably following. Because if he's blitzing, most likely in the man, right?
Yep.
So try to pop back in if you can. This guy does a phenomenal job. When he sees blitz, he inserts back. Does a really good job.
Yeah, he does.
That's
So-
pretty cool.
So with your offensive lineman coach, and you know, do you drill it? Do you drill it against live bodies? Do you have somebody out there holding the bag, or is it all about just get to your landmark? How do y'all rep that with your kids in practice?
We want to be live bodies every single time.
Yeah.
Even when we're just helmets, we tell our defensive guys to go full speed up to the thud.
Yep.
We don't want anything extra. But to me, you can work landmarks with the younger guys, and I think that is extremely effective developmentally. Especially, we run these screens in middle school as well in our middle school program. But live bodies is where you get your work because these offensive linemen are not used to getting out in space like that.
No, they're not.
So
But your kids on film, they're doing a good job of it.
yeah, well, our offensive line coach, he played at Southern Miss for goodness gracious,
Fedora.
and he brought some really good rules with him. He's down in New Orleans now, but our offensive line coach now, he played at Virginia. So we've had and he was all ACC. So we've had a really good stretch of offensive line coaches the past few years. I wanted to show you all one more. It's nothing revolutionary, but the big thing that I think it's important for people to understand. So the first one I showed you was we called convoy, and I call that to mess with the defensive line. This one we call it solid, okay? And we're going to use run steps and
Yep.
pass sets, okay? And to me, that affects the offense. That affects the linebackers and gets them sucked up into the line of scrimmage. So a lot of you 11 personnel guys, a lot of you 20 personnel guys, I would install solid before I installed the regular because one, it's easier. 2, it's going to help you more, suck those linebackers in. But it's the exact same rules, except we're going to zone step 3 steps instead of vertical pass set 3 steps, and we're kick alley wall. Except for if you're the backside guard, backside tackle in this situation, we have a tight end. They're just going to run zone opposite of the call. That's all it is. And there's an action with the back and the quarterback.
Yep.
Kick alley wall.
Can you run that back one more time?
Sir. Now our left guard runs our convoy. He doesn't run.
Yeah, I was going to say he doesn't. The rest of them take their run steps. He doesn't.
Let's go on to a good one here.
Still good work though, Coach. That's nice.
Again, he does it. Son of a bitch. It's working though.
Hey, there's always one. That's the thing. As long as it matters, as long as it still hits, that's the center there. Yeah.
Our center's at Dayton. Our left tackle in this situation is at Miami of Ohio, and our guards at Middle Tennessee State. We had some ball players.
Yeah.
Yeah, some Jimmys, huh?
Let me find. There's one more that's really good. Wandale Robinson's in this one.
Did you think the action was as effective out of pistol?
We are pistol all the time, so yes. It's
Good answer.
It's more about your quarterback, and
Right.
we didn't run solid. This is from 2 years ago. We didn't run our solid at all this year, except for Alpha Jet, because we just didn't run the ball. We threw the ball 73% of the time, so it just didn't make sense to call solid. The
Right.
regular convoy screen was where we had a lot of success because we threw the ball. But it's all about if you run the ball effectively and you're running inside zone, you're pounding people, you're going to get the linebackers up for sure, no matter if they're sidecar or if they're
And guys, I'll say this: when I was at Ole Miss, we were with David Cutcliffe. We were under center. Um, Eli Manning's not the most athletic thing you've ever seen, but we would, off of our stretch from a 1 back under center or 2 back under center, we would run the solid the same way. So even from the pistol, I know I've looked at it that way. Is we'll show the stretch to the field here, and the quarterback will turn his back to the receiver we're throwing to, and he turns, shows the ball 1, 2, and on his third step turns and rifles the screen backside. It's a great way to do it if you're going to be an under center or a pistol team, because when you do show your back to that guy off the edge or that end or whoever, man, they start working flat down the line.
Wasn't that the Pats' first touchdown when they came back against the Falcons?
It probably was. I know they've always run it.
Coach, did you say you roll out quite a bit?
If you're asking me, we used to sprint out,
Yeah.
and so we have not thrown tunnel off a sprint out. We didn't do a lot of it last year. We do more like a half roll boot than we do true sprint out now.
Yeah.
But we used to throw slow screen to the tight end backside off a sprint out.
Yeah. Yeah. When I first got to Catholic, they really emphasized it was essentially a half roll. It was off solid convoy.
Yep.
And they had success with it. Like you
Yep.
said, if you see that back at the quarterback, that just tells everyone to commit.
Yeah.
And we burn people quite a bit.
Yep.
There was one more I was going to talk about, but I feel like I'm talking too much. So
feel free to share if you want to, Coach. I got no issue with it.
Simple but a goodie. We threw wing screen this year quite a bit.
Yep.
I mean, this is against Covenant Catholic. But what we did, I guess is a little bit different, is what we would do oftentimes, we get in a tray set, tight end trips, and push the back. And what you do in that situation, especially against a 3-4 football team that wants to remain balanced, they don't have the hats, period.
Right.
They either have to chase with the safety, which they don't want to do, or they have to remove a backer, which they don't want to do. And what they do not want to flip that jack or whatever you want to call him opposite. And we really hurt people with that this year. Just by leverage. We would cut that guy sometimes we just block him. We had a ton of success with it.
We just called that our key four. I mean, we did that left and right as well. We just early motion or late motioned them and key four out of it.
Yeah, and it's simple. It's an easy throw, and it's stretch. You got inside linebackers are sprinting their ass off.
Yeah, no doubt.
This guy's going to Notre Dame. He's a 5-star middle linebacker. We put up, I think, 40 points.
Don't remind me. Don't remind me, Coach.
He might have played the game of his life in the state championship. That kid's a stud.
Yeah, thanks.
But we were able to wear him out because we ran him sideline to sideline. He played both ways. But once you committed, so once you decided you were going to chase with this safety, you were going to go post over top. And we hit people hard with it because we're one-on-one. And when you've got a quarterback, that's not a tough throw right there.
No, the kid did a great job stemming his route.
Yeah, he's only a sophomore. Kid's going to be a stud for us. But he just kind of throws this ball up because he knows it's one-on-one, and he likes his matchup right there.
Yep.
This is another way we have to have it. That's a big thing I was going to say. You have to have some sort of fake off of all your screens.
Yeah.
You have to protect yourself from the box by with your screens, either rat kill, things of that nature. But you have to protect yourself from aggressive corners, aggressive safeties with fakes off your screens. So you got to control the box with discipline. You've got to have fake screens for secondary. Now, I understand most guys don't have a quarterback that can make this throw, but it's an extremely effective way to attack that safety.
Yep.
But I'll go ahead and hop off here.
Yeah, I like that though. With against an odd front, grounding the tight end there. I'm a big believer in grounding the tight end versus an odd front.
Absolutely, you got to dictate what they're going to do and then attack it how they.
So I've got something I'm going to show y'all real quick, and I've it's not something that honestly that I've got even got film on, but it's something I listened to a guy talk about and watched his film on it. So I want to see what you guys think. In particular, I want to see what I'm trying to remember where I'm hiding my blank sheets on the playbook. What you guys think about this, and I guess I've got a question about maybe there's some other ways we could wrinkle it. So I know one screen that we used to carry at a previous coaching stop was we carried a boot screen where we would show boot one way and then come back the other way. We would let's see here. Can everybody see my screen? Is it shared?
That's a
No, I just see your face.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't think so. Let me.
good looking face though, Coach. You go ahead and
Hey.
keep that up there now.
I'm glad somebody other than my wife thinks it. Took me damn near 35 years to find her. So anyway, what we did was when we would do it off of all sorts of different formations. But we would work boot. So we would actually boot pull and sickle pull the guard here. We would fake to the tailback, get depth, and then we would gap hinge, block back, and then all we did was off of it. The tailback would leak out late, and we would get these two guys out in front. It was good to us. We were able to do some good things. What he showed the other night that I thought was interesting was, and he showed that so many teams now are running counter read or counter bash. So what he did or does is off of the counter OT that they run, he pulls
his weak side guys.
He pulls both these guys, pulls here, and what he does is he now takes every one of these guys is basically one step punch and go. What they do is the center has number one outside of the box. So that would be, in this case, Sam linebacker. The guard here would have number one in the box to the play side. So essentially he's working here. He's working to number one in the box. He's working to number two in the box. And if he disappears, he's up to safety. Out here, if they're doing it out of this formation, he's going to climb and he's going to take him. And then obviously you get the tunnel back underneath there. And watching it on film, because that was my first thing was, man, if that end has a mesh charge, if that's how they're choosing to defend you, his answer was, well, if they're mesh charging you, this isn't your screen. You need to have other things. And he's right. But I thought it was interesting that one, and I guess really how I've got the X drawn up here is not accurate. So let me correct that. What they do, they teach. I know, like Coach, you said a minute ago that you teach both your guys 3 steps vertical, and then the screen guys retracing. They teach this to look like a speed out. They roll it over at 4 yards to 5, and the only time they treat it different is going to be if the corner is pressed on the outside receiver. Otherwise, they want it to look like a rollover speed out. But that man, he watched film or he showed film and against an even front and an odd front. It hit quick. It has a chance to hit quick because they're not trying to get the alley all the way out here on the sidewalk. They're just trying to get number one outside of the box wherever he is. And once they get that seal, now you're just riding the wave basically off of the number one in the box. Thought it was interesting. I also started thinking about it. We're not a team that runs OT. We're not going to be a team that runs OT. It's just doesn't fit the skill set of my quarterback for one. But, if you run power read or even if you just run trap, it's not a bad way, I think, off of that same look. And whether you just full out pass set the tackle to keep the quarterback from getting hit in the face and still use the same blocking rules, and you go one outside the box, one in the box, two in the box. It's a nice way to protect against backside run throughs. It's a nice way to protect your power read game, or like long trap if you run long trap. It's not at all a bad way to do it. I even think that you could be they would run it to the single receiver as well. And I think off of power read, if you're running it in particular off of jet motion, now I think you could be just as effective working it with him, but showing that guard to pull, kind of like what Coach was doing with showing stretch away earlier. Getting that guard to pull and really getting backers flowing. And now I do think, though, that if you're doing it off a power read to a single receiver, I think it's a great opportunity now to set, throw, and go with that tackle, and now let him go get number two outside of the boxes, because their counts from the center out instead of sideline in.
Mm-hmm.
What do y'all think about that? Anybody have any experience running screens off of their gap schemes, or does anybody have do you think what I'm thinking of off of power read or trap will be as effective as it is off of OT? What are y'all's thoughts?
We tried to do it out of two-back power this past season. We'd bring that H and we'd have him in, and he'd stem like he's coming to get that end.
Yep.
And we just couldn't time it up. I mean, against an even front, it was going to be something evil.
Yeah.
But we just could not time it up. I mean, our center, we got happy when he just stalemated a dude, let alone getting blown up. So that was part of the problem. But we've tried it. I could never get it to work in the past two seasons. I do like it. I think it's a trick play, but it's extremely inexpensive.
That was that was one of the things that he talked about, the way they run it off of their gap scheme, was it's so easy because they'll go and then go against the air, he said, or against just bodies lined up out there, but they'll just do nothing but run counter and the screen off of it for 10 minutes, and you can do it in the summer and do it whenever, and get a million reps, and the steps are the same to start both plays, and so there's some kind of natural build there. So I'm with you. If I can get the timing of it right, I think it's a good way to try to screen teams.
Yeah, no, I love it. I think it's fantastic.
So, all right. So I was curious, anybody else, any opinions on that? Anybody ever run one like that?
I like it. I mean, I just drew it up on the board to make sure I don't forget it. It seems, just looking at it, I would like to see their practice film, because there's just a lot of moving pieces.
It is.
You got to Olay, and get through. You have to do a big GT or a big power. You know what I mean? Where people fighting over top, and they're
right.
Really top. It's something to look at, because we need to get a little bit more.
I really like it.
You do?
Yeah, I really like it. It gives you a gap scheme.
Yep.
Screen. I mean, we don't, it gives you one. We don't I've never. I really like that. I have never seen that. I really.
I've started noticing some teams running stuff off of power and getting the center out. He was
Yeah.
one of the first ones that I had seen get that whole front side, show your down block, and then get out. And I thought his count system was obviously really easy.
Yeah, I love the count system. That's what we use. Now I'm sitting here drawing it out of counter F, trying to
Yeah.
make we're a big counter F team.
Yep.
Messing with it.
What about out of dart, Coach?
I think, against an odd front in particular,
Yeah.
if you're getting 4 eyes, let the guard back on the 4 and let him get out wide.
Yeah.
Dart, we're not, Lord knows we've beat our heads against the wall looking at dart the past few years, and it's just, we're better at other things, so we're going to invest time in those things.
I really like that out of dart. I think.
If you're a dart team, I think against an odd front especially, that's a hell of a way to potentially run that screen. That's a good call right there.
Even if dart becomes your bread and butter, even against if you're playing a trail team or a chase team out of a defensive end to squeeze,
Yep.
hell, you're looking pretty good for that guard to get out now.
Yeah, no, you definitely are. You got a chance now really to get 4 guys out there. It's going to hit back underneath. And if the pull action and the backfield action can get back or scraping, that's the big thing to me, is just the effect that it can have on backers, And that I think, I'll say this, one thing is, like I said a minute ago, it's not happening real wide. But one of the things that I noticed that I wrote down in my notes when he was showing film was the kid got vertical as fast as he could and as often as he could. If he could get back out, he did. He didn't end up truly in the middle of the field. If I watched 15 clips, he might have ended up in the middle of the field twice, and it was because of like a safety or something that rotated down just in the coverage, and he ended up having to kind of fit off of him. I know, but as soon as he got inside the center, who was coming for number 1 outside of the box, he was trying to get vertical and back out to the number. And just some of the clips he was showing, it was just an average kid, and he was running away from people with the angles. I think it's easy on the quarterback too, especially if that end squeezing. And you're not getting mesh charge. Mesh charge, you need to know the plan. But off a run game like that, if you can get dudes flowing, that's big, man.
Run it. I have a buddy that runs it, and they have really good. There's a lot of comeback personnel power.
Yep.
He sent me some of his clean stuff, so I don't want to show any of that, but he does a great job with it, and they release almost exactly like you do it. They just time it up where basically the number 1 receiver, he's got to retrace his steps, and that usually puts the timing back where exactly we need it. But they run 1 back power out of it, just like that.
So they'll hey, coaches, be mindful of your background audio so we can hear everything. But so you're saying they'll run 1 back power, wrap that guard, and then get that center, and they get the tackle and the center out, or just one of them?
Both of them. Let me double check. I have it. I'm actually looking at it right now. Let me look. So he's got oh my God, everybody except for the guard.
Everybody but the guard that pulls gets out.
Yeah. Let me see if I can make it. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
I'm trying to make it full screen I'm on my cell phone, so. All right. Here it goes. Yeah, so they pull the guard, man, they pull everybody. So, like, they are 11 personnel team, right?
Yep.
So they'll have tight end right. He blocks the end. The left, if it's going counter, or if it's screen left. Yeah, the guard pulls just like it's power. The running back runs just like it's power. And then they pull the left tackle, the center, the right guard, and the right tackle. And then they do kind of the same thing. It looks like a speed out with
Yep.
number 2, and that's it. Pretty much takes care of that corner, and then that guy retraces his steps and just runs back up the alley. But yeah, like you said, it never hits the middle of the field. They're not trying to get back out. I mean, depending on your guy, you may or may not get back outside.
Yeah.
You know. But it looks good. I mean, I've seen him do it for years, and he's told me about it. I just never have had the guts to do it.
If you're going to be a gap scheme team, I don't. It makes sense to me. It really does. I also think if you're an RPO team at all, and you get those overhangs that just want to sit, it gives you a chance to you can get a guy out there quicker now. I feel like. Because he's going to see the run action, so he's going to start buzzing his feet because that's what he's probably been taught to do if they're playing any type of zone. And then, he sees the guard pull, he's slow backside, and then all of a sudden here comes a guy from inside out. It might be a nice way to control those overhangs a little bit as well. But I love doing it off gap scheme. I don't know why in the hell I've never done it other than off
I need to try it this year because we were a big power counter inside zone. That's all we ran. We ran a lot of the bash stuff. So we really got to throw screens this year. We did not throw. I mean, all we threw was key 1s and key 2s. We got to throw something else this year. So I've been studying screens like crazy. Yeah,
that's me too, man. That's I'm trying to study up on them a ton. I know. Go ahead.
Sorry. I was gonna say the reason I didn't want to show it because I think he's about to start putting his stuff on CoachTube. So I didn't want to.
Didn't want to give us a free preview, man. We might have enticed us to pay for it later.
If anybody wants to see it, I'll do it one-on-one, but I just don't want to, you know what I mean? Because I think he's about to put his stuff on CoachTube, and I don't want to. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. I can appreciate that. Yeah, I might message you afterwards. I saw in the little chat feature or whatever, some of you guys were talking about dual screen. And one of you said dual screen read. You got it from SMU, from Auburn. If any of you guys are interested in talking about that, or if you've got any film on it, I'd like to see it. I
actually have some read screen from SMU's this past year. I went to a Glacier in Oklahoma this year.
Yep.
And if you give me a minute, I'll actually hop off my phone. I'll hop on my laptop.
Yeah.
And I'll rejoin. And I actually have some pretty good film from them from this past season.
Yeah.
So and they were pretty good this past year, so it was good.
Yeah,
Coach, while he's doing that, I'll pop my screen up and show you what we do on it. I know we play LexCath, and I'm partly joking, but I don't care to share. But they do a great job at LexCath on screens, so Coach Fields knows what he's talking about on all that stuff for sure. But can you guys see this?
Yes, sir.
All right. So for us, we can do this with early motion with the back as well. We can do this out of any formation, but we're going to read the C-gap defender. Like right here, we got a pretty tight 4-eye by the right tackle, so he decides to block him. So we're going to pull around the horn against this look, and we're just going to read the C-gap defender to throw to the back. All right. And if he doesn't like that, if he thinks it's cluttered a little bit, all right, then we can come back to the screen right here to the single receiver and read the C-gap. All right. So for us, all right, what I'd like to see him do is kind of work out, and we'll read the C-gap, but this guy's pretty tight, so I understand why he did it. All right. We're going to crack, all right, out here. All right, crack screen to the best of our abilities. And what I'd like to see this right tackle do is go flat and take number 1. All right, so he kind of messes up here in the clip. But I would like to read this guy for our read and see gap, all right, to where we're going to crack, all right, the inside receiver to the box. We do this out of trips this time. Number 2, all right, is going to crack the inside defender. Number 1 is there. Then I'd like to see the right tackle go flat behind the crack to get the corner. I have called it like this particular clip here. I went ahead and tagged it because the way the team play our screens right here, All right, this is a pretty good program in our district. But I went ahead and tagged the dual read to the X receiver here. All right, the left tackle is going to, and the left guard are running a run. We call this a missile action. All right, and we also run it off a stretch as well. So we're getting a lot of the same work on our dual read screen along with our stretch read screen. All right, but the left tackle here does a great job. He's a really good player. He's going to be a senior. Got offers from everybody, but he's a little late here. But you can see, right, that he has number one. We don't get him, but we do a pretty good job of retracting back, all right, on the dual read to the catch. But again, it's not anything mind-blowing, but we've got a lot of merit out of this the last 3 years of dual read. I've started games out with this several times, and I'm not opposed to it. It's an easy read for the Q. He's just going to read the C gap for the flare screen. And again, I'd like to see our tackle go a little flatter. All right. And then the guard, he pulls around the horn here, but I want him to try to get to that guy just in case we don't get a very good crack.
So if it's an even front, coach, and you've got a wide 5 out there and a 3 technique,
Yep.
the right tackle is going to just turn. He's sprinting for number 1. He's coming behind the
Yes.
cracks.
Yeah. Yeah. If it's an even front team, and then obviously that's going to take a little bit of coaching. We do a screen drill twice a week. We'll do it like Coach Field said. We'll do it on bodies. And we also will do it as a warm-up on bags where our coaches will actually set the bags on the hashes and get our landmarks.
Yep.
We do that as a warm-up right after flex as well, 2 days a week. So we spend about 20 to 25 minutes on screens during a typical, work week for practice. We'll spend a little bit more time on them in fall camp, summer camp. All right, than we do during the season, but we'll spend at least 20, 25 minutes. To me, this screen is even better against an even front team. You can, like Coach Fields talked about, you can go ahead and early motion him out, and we'll do a little bit of that. You can bring him over here and bang him behind the quarterback and do it like Scott Frost does. All right, but we've got a lot of merit out of this. We're blessed with some pretty good speed at receiver, so it gets your athletes in space. Even right here, we don't get the block on number 1 back here on the dual read screen, and we still get a pretty big play on it. All right, back to number 1. And you just get your athletes in space. I mean, our guard didn't really get out great here, but we just get our athletes in space and make these guys miss just a one-on-one, situation. The other thing I want to talk about on the dual read screen, all right, is just reading what we like here with number 1. So our quarterback here reads C gap. C gap gets in his face. We're blocking number 1. We don't do a very good job on the backer. You can see you're just getting your athletes in space, getting your playmakers the ball the best you can, and coming back to this running back dual read. Guard misses the guy, like I said, doesn't do a very good job, but at least he's playing with great effort. And we're just going to read that C-gap defender. Let me show you here on outside stretch. We got a lot of merit out of this as well with our outside stretch scheme. We just call this a missile technique where we're going to sell our stretch play. And the left tackle, left guard are going to be 1,001. Then they're going to go flat. Again, the tackle is late here.
Yep.
Doesn't do a very good job. Should have got out to number 1. All right. But again, this isn't anything mind blowing, but it really gets these backers to run, get your athletes if you have them in space. And we do this off a stretch and inside zone. The reason I like both of these plays, and I'm an O-line guy, I still coach O-line even as the head coach. Is it's O-line friendly, and you're getting a lot of reps with your terminology. So even on Thunder, when we do the dual read screen, like if we're going Thunder to the right or we're going our dual read screen to the right, you're working that to the right and you're working your missile stuff to the left.
To the left. Yep.
So all your linemen are involved in 2 different schemes. So as you're installing it, what I like about it, I'm an O-line friendly coordinator and head coach. I mean, we're going to make those guys important like most coaches should, if all of us. But what I like is it's dual purpose. So once I learned my thunder technique to the front side, all right, then I know Coach Fields, and I like that, talked about the kick alley wall concept, and I like that a lot. We're essentially doing a lot of the same things for the front side and the back side. It's just a little different terminology. But once you get that missile side installed in your thunder side, you can call any of this anytime. So like in my notes just now, you guys are talking about that gut scheme with running the screen back away.
Yep.
For us, that's just a simple tag of a missile concept.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, we're just running we call it a gut scheme, but we're running our counter tray, and then all I have to do is tag that screen to it. For us, that's good terminology, and our kids are getting a lot of work, even though these are two different plays. Once you get your initial installed of the concept, you can go, it's endless possibilities as long as your kids know that technique.
So
Not perfect.
So
Go ahead.
for you, whatever run play is, you just tag missile on the end. Kids are going to execute those steps, and then they're going to release.
Yes, correct.
That's a good way to handle that.
Correct. And then I just like it and then we can incorporate this with your tight end middle screens, your running back middle screens. I like what you just talked about with, the dart concept, Coach, because we do run dart as well because we play a lot of tight 4-eye teams. So I do like that. I definitely have that drawn up in my notes, so I appreciate that. But we've got a lot of merit on screens. We got really good at screens this past year that a lot of teams, the good defenses toward the end of the year and in the playoff run, they would set those DNs to where they wouldn't even move and they would chase. And Lexington Catholic, which I know coaches on here, they do a really good job of chasing your guys. They got pretty smart D linemen. So that even sets up, some things off of that as well because they know what's coming. And then you can do some counters off of that, all right, with your motions. And there's a lot of other things you can do to incorporate that in your game plan. But I like both of these because it's O-line friendly, and you can tag all kinds of different things off of it.
Yeah, I like that.
But the dual read stuff is excellent. That actually, when I played at Marshall for Ed Zombracker and Larry Keck, we ran a lot of this when I played and kind of stole it from our playbook there. I know it's been around a while, but we've got a lot of merit to it, and you can do a lot of window dressings with it. And you don't have to be obviously super athletic, but you got to have a decent R that can catch the ball. There's been some years I haven't done this as much as others, but all of you guys are good coaches and very creative in different ways. But again, if you're interested in our rules or how we do those things, you can message me or whatever. But that's kind of what we do.
Yeah, thank you, Coach.
So if you guys are ready, I got it pulled up here.
Yeah, go ahead. Give it to us, Coach.
All right. You guys see it?
Yes, sir.
Making my full screen here. I'm just going to let it run. Tell me if you want me to slow it down. This is SMU versus North Texas.
That's not, I hadn't seen a ton of teams that bring the tunnel from the field and work the running back screen into the boundary. That's nice.
That's the scariest thing in the world is throwing it to the field. Hell.
I know.
We see one team a year that I'm comfortable throwing it to the field, and that's one. So we don't really work it,
Yeah, no doubt.
Everybody else, there's too many bodies out there, man. Too many moving parts and moving safeties, and
there's just too much green to go wrong.
No, that's especially getting it all the way out there to number one.
Hell yeah. Golly.
All right, let me here's them running it in practice.
Yeah, some nice film here, Coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You keep doing whatever you're doing to get that.
I'm trying. That's why I don't want to show that stuff. I know they're going to charge for it later.
I'm with you, man.
Can you roll that one again, Coach?
It's just the same one right here.
Yeah, this is I think there's 3 different actually clips of this one. Because the way their practice is structured.
Yep.
So, all right, here it is. I'm going back. Rewind.
That's what I need, an indoor and 3 angles at practice.
Here it goes. So they went tunnel to the boundary again, running back to tunnel to the field, running back to the boundary.
Look at the running back step there. Run that back, coach. That's interesting. Watch a running back. Watch him take the jab step inside. I can see why that helps with timing into the boundary, because that's what I was wondering on the first clip was timing into the boundary's got to be different than running that swing to the field. But that helps the tackle out too. You get him a hell of a lot closer to number one, and on the damn high school hash that's so wide.
Yeah.
All right, here's the tight version of it.
Campbellsville University up in Kentucky
Yep.
used to release that tackle free now. No pass pro, no 1/1000, nothing. They would send him screaming.
But it looks like they do it different ways because I don't think he took that step here on this one. Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, it was just really,
just a real
really
quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
And on this one, the tackle stayed in. I'm sure they must have some front indicators.
They're stealing from Coach McPeak, taking
Yeah.
a couple tags out of his book.
What did you say, Coach? I didn't hear you.
And Coach, they're stealing stuff from you. They're tagging things 17 different ways.
Yeah, right. I steal from everybody.
Nobody
Beg,
does it
borrow,
better.
and steal.
That's right. Nobody does it better than preachers, teachers, and coaches.
No doubt.
Very true.
I like, teams that are going to play mini, that are going to isolate number one to the trips and bring guy outside of number two. I like throwing it to number two right there.
No doubt. I mean, that's –
Yeah, let number three go get the corner that's outside of number two.
Yeah.
Take the corner out with number one.
Here's when they were at Cal. This is all Sonny Dykes,
Yep.
So here's when he was at Cal with Jared Goff. The back there just waited.
Yeah, he just kind of froze. Yeah.
So did the quarterback.
He did.
Quarterback looked like he just took a pause step as well.
I guess that's what gets you drafted.
Yeah, hell.
Yeah, that's nice.
There's a couple more of Cal here.
I love it. I love the swing into the boundary, man. That's just different. And it's an easy read for the quarterback.
Say again what he's reading.
It looks like he's reading C-gap defender.
Yeah, he is. It's a C-gap defender.
To the swing side or to the –
To the swing.
To the swing.
So right here would be the Viper off the edge, it looks like. Run that back, Coach.
Yeah, it's going to show the end zone view.
Okay, perfect. So
I'll
here,
slow it down.
looks like he's looking at the stand-up.
Okay.
So let's see. He may be looking at the guy off the ball, but it almost –
He's looking at the stand-up guy.
Yeah, and he feathers a little bit. Yep. So he comes back this way. And my 55 can't get down the field and get a safety.
55 he can't do much.
All right, here's when so here's how I got most of this stuff. The tight ends coach actually used to be at ASU, and he recruited one of my players. So when I went to I had a kid that signed out at University of Washington because I'm out in Arizona, and I had he kind of remembered me when he came to our school, and so he was like, I'll send you all this stuff if you want. And I was like, all right, perfect. So he used to be the tight ends coach at ASU before Herm Edwards came in.
Yeah.
And now he's over at SMU.
That's good stuff right there, man.
Yeah.
Get that tackle one-on-one with a backer. All you got to do is get in the way.
That's Kalen Balaj, so he's slow. He plays for the Dolphins, but he's not he's kind of a pounder guy, so I guess you don't have to wait.
Coach, I think you're slow and my slow are two different definitions.
I mean, when you're talking D1 ball, you're talking about those kind of athletes. He wasn't a fast guy in D1 ball. That's why I think last year he ended up with minus yards in the NFL, minus yards carried.
I'll say this too. The better screen backs I've ever had were kids that, whether they were patient or they were slow,
Right.
Yeah.
it just made it better, man.
Yeah, I agree.
Something that's difficult, just me thinking out loud right now, when you watch college film, is that they can cut. And
Oh, yeah.
in Kentucky, we can't cut. So it just
Yeah.
makes out on the edge like that. If you can cut, it makes it so much easier.
No, there's
Yeah.
no question.
Yeah, I'm in Arizona. We can't cut here, so.
I think the only state that allows it anymore is Texas.
Texas, yeah.
Doesn't
Texas.
Massachusetts play by those rules too? I think.
Can't say I've ever seen any Massachusetts high school football.
I just thought that there was always two states that did it.
I think there were. I don't know who the other one is. Yeah, Coach, I like this, man. I appreciate you showing this to
I
us.
got one more. So this is a screen that we're gonna try to run this year. It's a man crack screen.
Yes.
So I think we were talking about this earlier a little bit. It's a little bit different though. And you're only releasing one lineman this one.
Okay.
So this is really what we're going to try to do. I mean, that one wasn't the best, but you'll see here the first, so the receiver on the right, he's going to come crack the first backer in the box. And then the tackle releases.
They just get the tackle out.
Yeah. Just because my guys can't run, so I'm not even going to try. We tried last year, and it just didn't work. So I said, you know what? I'll run one of my tackles because one of them can move. But then you're not asking them to cut or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I kind of like this. I mean, it's not a big hitter, but you'll see they dress it up a little bit in here. For whatever reason, I can't see my whole.
Yeah, that's nice when you're getting that singled into the boundary.
And I was gonna say, I really like that inside the 12.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
for
do
sure.
too.
I mean, because watch him. He comes and cracks that. Or he goes to safety there, and lineman hits that backer, and it makes it pretty simple.
And the
You're gonna
reason
get-
I like it inside the 12 so much is there's so much gap changing inside there for the safety responsibility when you put a nub inside that 12. Now you're expecting him to defend the over top as well as protect C gap. I mean, that's silly.
Here's Kalen Balaj running it again against SC. Let me show you one. I got one clip of a high school running it. Hold on one
Coach.
second.
Oh,
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm going to have to.
I thought that was Wisconsin there. I'm like, golly, you got ASU, SMU, and Wisconsin.
No. Can you guys see my PowerPoint?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So it runs a little bit better in my PowerPoint because PowerPoint, for whatever reason, tends to run it better. So this is a school out of Missouri, and this is how they're running it. They have one pretty good. Let me see if I can find the kid. This is I like this one right here. This kid's like a little 14 is a scary cat. So, I mean, it's a simple play there. Obviously not tons, but you can see, if you can get run jet motion, it's just another way to dress it up, you know.
It's a modern day boot screen is what it is.
Basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I like that a lot. Saying like calling it a man crack screen. This is different from really what we've been talking about. But I saw Charlie Weiss Jr. speak at the Land and Glacier Clinic trip. Nice job putting that on, by the way.
Thank you.
But one of the things that he talked about that they did with Kiffin down there is when they were getting man, everybody runs the slip screen where they're slipping the sniffer out of the backfield into the flat and they're reading the guy. And one of the things that he talked about, and maybe I'm just an idiot, guys, and all you have been doing it, and I'm not above admitting that I'm an idiot. But when they run it and they run it against teams that want to be man-to-man teams, they will crack everybody on the outside. And so they'll run the same, they'll read it and they'll slip it, just like everybody else. They'll read the guy off the end. So as soon as that end squeezes, they'll crack on the outside. And now when he dumps it off to the Y, you're getting your sniffer out there on the corner and trying to make the corner tackle. But I thought the key to it was they teach their crack rules the same way they teach their slant rules. So if it's off man, he's going to slide outside stem 3 steps, right? And then he's running right for the outside shoulder of the inside defender. If the corner is pressing, they're going to treat it just like they would a 1-step slant. They're going to step, stem inside like it's vertical, and then eyes inside and push right now on him. But he would be treating it the same way. So
is this when he's at FAU?
Yeah.
All right, because I have like a ton of FAU all 22 film. I'm gonna have to go through it now.
I've got a little bit of it, but Weiss Jr. showed some good clips. Same deal. If I'm off here, I'm running right at him for 3 steps, and then I'm here to the backer. If they're going to press the slot and play off on the corner, then he lets him kind of shake and set him up, and then he's right underneath right now. But obviously the action of it, right? If that's what we're getting, because it's man to man. What you end up getting is, it just looks like double slant, and you're asking whoever's matched up on him to now run through traffic, because by selling the slant on the crack, you end up getting all that trash carried inside. And by the time you add the run action and this guy coming through all the trash to get there, it's a really nice way down in the red zone in particular, I thought, to get that guy open, because it's something that we've carried, but we've just always stalk 1, stalk 2, and we can't account for 3. This gives you a chance now, block 3, block 2, and make this guy be wrong.
Now, Coach, we did something very similar. If you'll go back to the base alignments there, leave your Y exactly how he is, because we run, split zone.
Yep.
Right? And we just called it Playboy, and what we did with Z and H is we would just X block them.
Yeah,
because we ran the hell out of a scissors concept.
Yep.
So we would just X block right here. Exactly. And that's exactly how we ran, because we would do it key and lock. So
yeah.
That's how we ran lock too as well.
We have done the exact same thing. What would get us would be teams that were going to play man free, especially odd fronts.
Yeah.
That this guy was going to be a backer, and now we could not. We could, other than reading him, we couldn't account for him.
Yeah.
And they could obviously play some games and try to attack our zone up front. And so yeah, I'm with you. We've done the same thing out here and had some success bringing him across. I just thought that crack, and somebody asked him and he addressed it. I mean, nowadays with those rules, you just got to train your kids what your aiming point is, and the whole point is to get in the way. It's no longer a kill shot that we all want to put on our highlight video.
If you teach them, so this past year we had pretty good luck teaching them. We did it a lot because I did kick return also as the OC.
Yep.
So we taught them, the basketball pick, and that works perfect in there. So what we started doing is something similar to this. If you had Y on your right, we would have them delay 1/1000.
Yep.
And we'd run an arrow out of it, but we would have those guys pick like basketball players as they were running, and we had such good luck with that.
So would you go here with it essentially?
Yeah, because they're running man, so we knew that corner would run with number 1, and so we would have tackle 1/1000, 2/1000, and just release. And by that time, the backer is not. I mean, they were always late when we ran it.
Yep.
And we just called it paint, and we had we had such good luck doing that, and just basketball picking.
I know Joe Moorhead is big when he was at Penn State, at Mississippi State, and I guess now at Oregon. He will take that guy and he will take one hard step with his inside foot and freeze, and he just counts and then gets back outside. And they really work that with him being patient. And I know they've had a lot of success. We bring it from the same side and from across. We've done it both ways. But yeah, when you can train this guy up to take that nice, because we will run that same side split zone where we're getting this backside combo and we're trying to dig out with the back tackle and the backside tackle and the sniffer.
Sniffer technique.
Yeah, it's a great way. Show like you're working that same side, and
Yep.
then come back out the back door. It's a great way to do it. It really is.
Yeah, that's kind of how we did it. We're gonna run some split zone this year to do that stuff, but yeah, we kind of had luck at just holding that guy. We would just say, "Hey, put your hand on the tackle's butt, for 1,000, 2 1,000, then get out of there." And
Yep.
we had really good luck because then that's gonna make him patient. Just by sticking his hand on the tackle's hip or lower back or whatever, that really was the patience that we need for him to get out of there.
I like, especially against an odd front, I like grounding the tight end.
Yeah.
If you've got one, and treat it like freaking, like you would on old school boot if you were booting to the tight end, where he's going to be down, 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 and then a lot of people have him pigtail back out, late into the flat. That's another good way to do it. And even then, with the cracks, that's a great way to do it. So, anybody got anything else?
Yeah, I've got real quick. I can show you all. I was watching Coach Johns talk about the double screen. We ran something similar, but we didn't read it. So we would go boundary, swing, but we didn't read it, and we were actually throwing it to number 2 instead of number 1.
Right.
But what we ran into is that defensive end, the play side defensive end would knock down the ball. So I stopped calling it. But we had some success with it. And it was the exact same rules. They did an awesome job. It's kick alley wall. So we keep the exact same rules as we did before.
Yep.
And we had a lot of success. It's just if you can't get around that tackle throwing the football, you really struggle getting him the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, that I've had issue in the past where the big offensive linemen short quarterbacks and we struggle to rip it out there when that tackle's working flat sometimes. So you did double read it though, Coach. You were looking swing into the boundaries your first read.
We didn't.
You just showed that look.
Yeah, we just showed it. We were just trying to pull baggers, try to pull a safety as much as possible.
Do you run a lot of 2-man snag into the boundary or some type of slant wheel or anything?
We don't run much, honestly, into the boundary. We run a ton of stuff to the field, but that's probably going to change this year because, our quarterback is going to be good, but not as good as what we've had the past.
Yeah.
So we're gonna work a lot more boundary than we have going forward.
Yep. Nice. Well, fellas, I wish I had more time, but I need to wrap it up. I will upload this thing to YouTube, so it'll be up there for everybody. And so if you need to go back and watch it, I know I took a ton of freaking notes tonight, man. So I appreciate you guys. I'm going to hit some of you up for some clips. I know Coach Johns, if your boy would be okay with you sharing any of it, man, I will give anything that I can in replacement for it. So.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm gonna put my Twitter in here because I think I missed the last one, so I had messaged you about it this morning.
Yep.
So I could watch the replay. I put my Twitter in there. You guys can message me or whenever, and I can get you, try to get you what you need.
All right. What is that Twitter handle, Coach?
Whoops! I think I sent it to somebody privately. Whoops, my bad. It's just Coach AJ623.
Coach AJ623.
Yeah.
All right.
Feel free to message me whenever, and I'll get you what I can.
No doubt. Same thing, fellas. If I've got anything that you guys want, let me know. I know I've sent some film already to some guys, and I appreciate the guys that have sent me stuff. I've had a good time looking at some of it, trying to figure out what we're gonna do. So, well, fellas, I got to wrap it up. I appreciate you coming. Like I said, I've recorded this, so if you want to watch it tomorrow, just holler at me, and I can send you the link, and you'll be able to catch everything again. But I may do another one. It's either going to be Wednesday or Thursday. I know I've been doing Monday, Wednesday, but I might have a Wednesday night conflict, so I need to double check. But I'll let you guys know. I'll put it on Twitter. I'll send out some text, and if anybody's got anything specific you want to talk about, holler at me and let me know because, I've got a ton of things in my head that I'm always trying to study, but at the same time, that isn't what everybody else wants to talk about. So if you got something you want to share, holler at me.
Yeah, I don't want to promote anything, but I'm in a group on Facebook where we do the same exact thing, where
Yep.
we all, like 5 or 6 of us, get together and just start throwing out topics, and somebody's going on there. So if any of you are on Facebook, it's called Let's Talk Offense.
Let's
And
talk
it's just
offense.
it's just a group that we literally get in and we put up topics, and we'll literally, Coach, we do literally the same exact thing as this. Everybody will get together one night and we'll have 10 guys on there. Sometimes we've had 2, sometimes we've had, I was presenting my offense to my offensive staff because we had some new coaches join. And so like I did a review with them on there prior to doing it with my offense so they could kind of see it. And I showed them all that clips that were in that PowerPoint.
Yep.
So, we're doing the same exact thing. So I don't want to promote a group or anything. It's not paid. It's just a bunch of coaches talking ball from all over the country. Just like
Yeah,
this.
I love it, Coach. I appreciate it. I'm going to go look that up.
All right.
So, all right, fellas.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Y'all have a
Thanks,
good one.
man.
We'll catch you later this week.
Thanks, Coach.
Take care.
Bye.
Appreciate it. Thank you.